Splitting the party in TTRPG games is always seen as a bad thing. Never want to split the party. So I would disagree with it in general. But what do you do when you're the player and you're convinced it's the right decision not to go somewhere and the rest of your party want to still go? That's what this post is about. This is from Umair Sheriff 23 on Reddit, and they titled the post, "Need advice for a table dispute among friends." So let's jump in. I'm running a Waterdeep Dragon Heist game with my friends. The game is online, so we meet over Teams and use Owlbear to share maps. During the game, one of my players wanted to get more gold, so I introduced a hook for a dungeon of the Mad Mage, where they go into the Underdark Mountain and get items infused with dark magic for gold. I prepped my players in advance that the Underdark is an extremely dangerous place where extremely few people that have ventured down have ever come back. A few days before the session, I asked my friends to create a second character in case they died, to underline that the odds them dying are pretty high. I think I see where this is going. On the day of the game, one of my friends decides to not go with the rest and instead spent time drinking tea nearby, while the rest of the party went down the mountain and unsurprisingly died. The problem is, the rest of my friends now don't trust the friend that didn't join to have their back in a tight situation. The friend who left is too attached to her character and didn't want anything bad to happen to her, which is why she didn't go down the mountain. But she wants to be a team player. How do I, as a DM, provide a situation where my friend that bailed can now prove herself to the rest of the party that they could rely on her? I feel like there's a little bit wrong, and how there's a little bit wrong idea that came from that failed kind of heist, or whatever you want to call it, failed adventure. I think you're completely in the player's right, where if you think your character would not take on that job because of the word of mouth of how dangerous a situation it is, I think that's pretty fucking valid. Like, so the DM is saying that their friend is too attached to her character. He didn't say if she actually said that or if he's thinking that or they're thinking that. So I'm a little bit kind of suspicious there, as if that is the DM thinking that, or if that's what's always actually said, right? If you hear of this horrible situation and you're like, you sometimes you can be like, fuck me, I don't think we're fucking high enough level for that. If that pops into your head, that's fine. You know what I mean? Now, you word it differently when you're talking roleplay wise with your team, but I think that's a very valid situation. You know, it's like, if it's not something that's dire that needs to be done, this is like, when you think about it, like, this is a side quest, right? So they just heard about this potential to get more gold and are just running headlong into it, where it sounds like this player is a bit more like, whoa, hold up. Maybe we should have a look around here for some other quests in the area, where we could earn a bit of gold instead of this. This sounds a little bit out of our league. You know what I mean? That's all that's what the roleplay has to be. And if the rest of the team still says, no, let's go, like, you can just be adamant. You can just kind of be like, look, let's try and learn a little bit more about the Underdark. And then the DM can use that. So they go to chat to different NPCs about getting more information about the Underdark. That's where you layer on to your players. You're like, oh yeah, you know, only just the other day, a whole warrior troop went down to explore the Underdark, and we haven't heard anything back. You know what I mean? Like, you can spread myths and stories about, like, nobody has come back from the Underdark in the longest time. At that point, if you think you've laid down enough hints that this place is very dangerous and they still want to go, they go. I wouldn't stop them. You know, I think if I've given enough warnings, I think that's the important part, right? Because it's making sure players are aware of how dangerous a situation is. That's the key part that can be difficult sometimes to get the balance of. You don't want to outright tell them, but you want to make sure that they are aware of the risks. I think I would potentially fault the DM here a bit as well, in the sense of the DM had full control about what quests were available in the area. You know what I mean? Unless, sorry, they did say they're running Waterdeep, the Dragon Heist at Waterdeep. So maybe this is part of, I'm a little bit unaware, I haven't played it. So I'm not sure if this is an actual side quest in the game or not. But I think at this point, I think you should have given like maybe 2 or 3 options, you know, and be like, there's a higher reward from this one that leads you to the Underdark. It's 100%, like, fucking, if they want to go Underdark, I'd bring them to the Underdark. Let them get destroyed, like. But give them the other options. You know what I mean? Instead of making it, because the fact that she just sat back and had tea, obviously it looks like a bit of a kick in the face for the rest of the party. But she was making a logical decision that she thought, let's go with the idea that she thought her character wouldn't want to go, didn't think they were ready for going that far. If you had given them the option of another quest, which didn't seem as dangerous. It doesn't seem like she's just given up on them. She's like, no, I don't think we should be doing that. Instead, it's a disagreement instead of more of a betrayal. I think it would be seen. Now, it might still be seen as a betrayal, but in my head, it should be seen more as a disagreement, and that the OP's character wasn't comfortable going to do that quest and wanted to go off and do it. And maybe she goes off to do that quest herself. So I think the DM's a little bit of fault there. If like they're the one that provides how difficult the quest is. So in a sense, it's kind of like, yes, give them the difficult option if they want to risk their characters, potentially get high risk, high rewards for a scenario. But also, I think you should have a little bit more option. Like, I don't think the DM gave the character a good out to not be looked at by the rest of the party. But also on this, so the whole party got wiped, right? Or sorry, the party that went in got wiped. So I'm presuming they're using their backup characters now. My next question is, they're saying, what is the situation where my friend Bale can now prove herself to the rest of the party? Well, my next point is going to be that the new party members wouldn't even have that information that she's betrayed. They wouldn't. The players are really there presuming that they have that information, where the DM really has to be like, these are new people. Maybe they would have heard tales of it, but at the same time, they don't fucking know. Most of the if it's a similar situation where nobody's come back from the Underdark, then most of the town or most of the Waterdeep probably wouldn't know if more people came back. It'd be the same scenario. Yeah, and our group went in, never came back. They could be dead. They could be still down there. We don't really know. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of assumptions and a lot of gaps in the logic in this situation here, because I don't think OP here is really at fault. I think she could have, or they could have phrased their character's concern in a bit of a different way, instead of just saying, I don't want to go do this, it's too dangerous. Like, why don't we look for something else? I think then it's a lot more likely that people look at it as more of a disagreement instead of like betrayal, which I don't think it's a betrayal. You can very easily write it into story reasons. I said, like, look, I have someone I need to find. I can't be throwing myself into the Underdark just for a lump of gold. Like, you know what I mean? Which is completely fucking valid. One of us like, I need to find my kids. You know what I mean? What if you're playing a dad or a mom of a character or has kids, and you're like, I don't need to be wasting my time running into the Underdark for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, you can have a solid story reason for it. I think the DM probably could have worked with OP here, have more of a reason. I think the DM kind of failed in the fact of he's let the rest of the team build a narrative that it was a betrayal instead of just like they didn't value that as something important they should be doing. This is a tricky one though. Yeah, I like this. It's good to be able to think these situations through. Once again, I guess I'm kind of taking it that the party is in the characters see it as a betrayal, but maybe they mean the players. And if it's the players, then that's absolutely wrong. If anything, you should have more of an understanding as the actual person playing your character as to why she wouldn't want to go down into the Underdark. You know what I mean? So I think the DM needs to step in there and change and just say, look, you guys are approaching this the wrong way. I would not say that's a betrayal. That is more of that was a disagreement in priorities and what each kind of half of the team thought was important. You know what I mean? Because if it was just for gold, that was purely what do they need the gold for? I think the DM once again made a bit of a mistake there in allowing that narrative to be for this character, instead of being like, hold on a sec, guys, I think you're approaching this the wrong way. So let's have a quick read of some comments here. Oh, sorry, wait. So I suppose the last question I didn't really talk about is like, how do I as a DM? Oh, sorry, I forgot it's the DM writing this. Oh shit. Sorry, I think I mixed and matched who I was talking about. But how do I, as a DM, provide a situation with my friend that bailed? Yeah, so sorry, I forgot that this is written. I thought it was written by the OP. Sorry, my bad. Or by the person who stayed. It isn't. It's written by the DM. My bad. How do I, as a DM, provide a situation where my friend that bailed can now prove herself to the rest of the party so they can rely on her? He's coming about it the wrong way, in my opinion. He needs to be describing it, or they need to be describing it to this character that stayed and having a discussion with the other party that it wasn't a bit like, you guys, shouldn't be looking at it as betrayal. There was a disagreement on what they should be prioritizing next, and I don't think that character has to do anything to win back respect or trust in the party, because I don't think they've done anything wrong. Right, let's head to the comments. One player wanted to go on a suicide mission for gold that you stated multiple times would be a suicide mission, even had them roll up a second character before going in, and the other player didn't want to go suicide mission for some player A to to get player A some gold. I was the one who didn't want to just throw away their character in a guaranteed death being labeled as the selfish one. One of the players who play this game are genuine things. Okay. I love how usually the top comment is like hits on some of the points I hit on. And like it makes me feel very vindicated sometimes, you know, like, okay, I'm not just talking shit. I got some value. There seems to be players who not DM one. I applaud you for trying to resolve this so you can move on and keep the game going. But ultimately, I think it's a trust issue. God damn, I'm good. Between them, it'll be difficult for you to solve. My only advice is start up next time with a session 0.2 and remind them of your warnings, how dangerous it was, and that this can happen. By reminding them of the dangers, they can focus on what you said rather than the other player. Yeah. I think the DM 100% is coming at this. Instead of giving the character some way to win back, I think you need to focus on the party members that died. You need to change their view of what happened, because I think that's the unfair part. This character, or this player, did what her character, she thought her character would do. She thought it would be too dangerous, you know what I mean? From everything she heard, which is absolutely fair. Anything else we have here? The smart player that didn't go to get killed for no reason when the DM said this would likely kill your character, have a backup ready, shouldn't be punished. Exactly, yeah. When the DM says this will probably kill you, take that to mean don't do this. You have to remember as well, right? So as a DM, we're always trying to not tell you how difficult something's going to be because you don't want to ruin it, you know what I mean? But if I go out of my way to say, like, this is a dangerous situation, you know I'm not fucking around then. You know I mean business then, you know? Well, this person has a good idea though. In hindsight, you, the DM, should have told her to run the backup character as like a hireling, especially if they didn't adjust scaling encounters for one less PC. Blaming her, the player, is way off base for the rest of the group. If it was me, I wouldn't be worried about them trusting me again. I'm worried about getting my character killed with reckless decisions. They should have trusted her. Her instincts were correct. It was a bad idea. That's another way. That's another way of doing it. Instead of just having her sit there, if you want her to still be engaged, and it's actually another good point as well. If the combat was going to be difficult, did the DM scale down the combat? Should he have scaled down the combat? Would I have scaled down the combat if I'd warned the party of how dangerous something was going to be? I don't know if I would have, to be honest with you. But it's an option. It's an option. Yeah, you could have actually used their second character. Maybe the party went looking for a fourth member or fifth, whatever number it is. Be like, okay, well, if they're not going to come with us, we need to find somebody else, and then she gets to play her secondary character. You know what I mean? That's kind of fun. Then her secondary character dies, potentially as well. Yeah. So fun. But yeah, 100% think that DM is coming at this from the wrong angle. It should be trying to change the mind of the characters the players whose characters died instead of one who stayed. As I don't think they did anything wrong for going with what they thought was too dangerous and not going to the mission. No. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Horseboy, as part of Dopes and Dragons with the lovely Happy. You'll see him if you click around on the channel here. We are affiliates with Dakota Irish, which is an Irish team, and they produce some one-shots, they produce D&D dice, they produce all sorts of D&D consumables. And using the code Dopes and Dragons, you can get 10% off your order and get some really cool dice or D&D stuff. If you liked the video, please let us know. Drop a comment, hit the like button, all that sort of stuff. And if you want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button, because we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Any help towards that. And anything else? Oh, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.